Welcome back. All right, so we're going to talk about Jason Allison today. This will go into the careers that are too short playlist, as well as the career playlist and the THG Hall of Fame. Because Jason Allison was one of my favorite players at one time, and it's a career that was far too short. He's not going to get into the Hockey Hall of Fame. But yeah, so I'll throw him into my Hall of Fame. Not that that's going to give him any kind of uh, money or there's nothing to being in the THG Hall of Fame. Anyways, Jason Allison was a number 17 pick in 1993 with the Washington Capitals. So first round pick. And they give him a couple of games that first year. 93 94, he plays 2 games, has 1 assist. They returned him to the London Knights. He played for the London Knights that year. 94 95, he didn't play with Washington that much. Now, this is a lockout shortened season. So he did play with London. He also had some games in the AHL. 12 games at the NHL level, 2 goals, 1 assist, 3 points. Now, year 3, and looking for a full time job at the NHL level, he ends up playing in the AHL a bunch as well. 19 games at the NHL level and 3 assists. So, this is where the grumbling gets going, and this is where the classic question gets asked about. You've got a young player coming up. Do you give him a top 6 spot? Does he have to earn it? And in Allison's case, Washington, it would appear, was trying to make him earn it. He wanted to play. So 96 97, he does make the team. 53 games, just 5 goals, 17 assists, 22 points. But he basically said, either I want more playing time or you guys should trade me. And they go, well, I guess we'll trade him then. So the Boston Bruins pick him up. March the 1st, he's traded with a 1997 third that became Lee Gorin. Jim Carey, the net detective, and Anson Carter. Going the other way, Adam Oates, Bill Ranford, and Rick Tocchet. That's a huge trade, and I'm pretty sure that with this Jason Allison video, I've done videos on each player involved in that trade other than Lee Gorin. At some point I could do a Lee Gorin video. Sure, why not? But at any rate, that's a trade that at the time, people looked at and said, well, clearly the Capitals are getting the best of it. Adam Oates, one of the best passers in the history of the game. Ranford can still play in net. And Rick Tocchet, tough as nails, good power forward. Capitals did well. But with Boston, the scoring improvement is there right away. 19 games after the trade, 3 goals, 9 assists, 12 points. And Boston gives them a chance. The 97-98 Bruins definitely had the opening for a top center, and Jason Allison took it. 81 games with Boston that first year, 33 goals, which is 10th overall in the NHL, 50 assists, which was 8th, 83 points, which is 9th overall in the National Hockey League. And he makes his playoff debut that year as well. 6 games for the Bruins that year. 2 goals, 6 assists, 8 points. He's 9th in Hart voting. So while his former teammates in Washington are going all the way to the Stanley Cup final, he's with a Boston team that's out in the first round. But 98-99, 82 games played, 23 goals, 53 assists, which was 6th overall in the NHL, 76 points. In the playoffs, he adds 2 goals, 9 assists for 11 points in 12 games. So things are looking really good. Things are looking quite good for him. He's a good young forward. He's only 6 years out from his draft year. And, there was no reason to be at all nervous about his role with the Bruins or any of that. But 99-2000, he suffered 2 serious wrist injuries. That limited him to 37 games, 10 goals, 18 assists, 28 points. So how would he rebound from that, right? Well, he rebounded by having the best year of his career. Plays all 82 games in 2000-2001, 36 goals, 59 assists, which is 4th overall in the National Hockey League, 95 points, also 4th overall in the NHL, and he made his lone All-Star appearance that year. So he plays in the All-Star game, but he wants more money. And the Boston Bruins were kind of cheap at the time. This is before we had a salary cap. I think in the salary cap era, I think Allison probably would have stuck around. But, he doesn't. He ends up being traded because he's demanding it. So he holds out. He wants money, and Boston says no to his demands. And so October 24th, he is traded to the LA Kings with Mikko Eloranta for Glenn Murray and Joseph Stumple. Now, that's not an awful return for Allison for the Bruins. However, it does give LA a center to play with Ziggy Palffy. They wanted a center to play with Palffy, and it works pretty well. In 2001-2002, 73 games played because with the holdout, he doesn't play the full season. 19 goals, but 55 assists, which was 2nd overall in the NHL that year, 74 points. In the playoffs, he adds 3 goals, 3 assists for 6 points in 7 games. So things look really good for him with LA. So we've gone from it looks like he should be a Boston forward for a long time to, well, due to money, he ends up going somewhere else because Boston doesn't want to spend it. And so going into the 02-03 season, things look really good. He should be a star for the LA Kings for some time. However, the 02-03 season is cut short. He had a knee injury, he had a neck injury, and he also suffered a concussion. So he only plays 26 games that year. 6 goals, 22 assists, 28 points at the time of these injuries that shut down his season, and he would miss the entire 2003-2004 season. Now, coming out of the lockout, the LA Kings don't pick up the option on his contract. They don't give him any kind of qualifying offer. And so as an unrestricted free agent, he signs August 5th of 2005 with the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Maple Leafs looking for a center, and Jason Allison fits the bill. Now, he ended up only playing 66 games. He suffered a hand injury that year, so this is the third season that gets shortened by injury. 17 goals, 43 assists, 60 points. And I remember that season that Allison was scoring really well, but there were always talks about his skating, and he's not very fast. He's not a very good skater. And that was the narrative, and I remember thinking, but he's about a point per game. Can you get some way to cover that up? And the answer was not really. Now, he doesn't sign anywhere for 06-07 because he wanted to stay close to his family, and the teams that were offering him contracts weren't close to his family, so he stayed with his family. He tried to make a comeback with the Toronto Maple Leafs in 2009. They gave him one of those professional tryout contracts. And despite getting into a pretty big fight in the preseason and doing his best to prove he belonged in the National Hockey League, Brian Burke stated that skating concerns prevented him from offering a contract to Jason Allison. So his contract gets ended with that. And it's too bad because, he plays 552 games, 154 goals, 331 assists, 485 points. In 25 playoff games, well, he was consistent. 7 goals, 18 assists, 25 points. So point per game in the playoffs and a really solid overall career that just wasn't long enough. He did win World Junior Gold in 1994 and 1995. So one thing about the Capitals not really giving him much of a chance, he at least did get to win back-to-back golds at the World Juniors, and he ended up still kind of setting his own timeline for things. Like, he wanted out of Washington, he got it. He wasn't gonna, sign for less with Boston, and he got pretty good contracts out of it. So he ended up making a pretty good living, but his career, in my eyes, was too short. And it is easy for people who are getting into hockey now, or people who've watched hockey for maybe the last 10 years, might not know a lot about Jason Allison. I hope this video has helped at least a little bit. He was a dynamic passer. He was a really elite offensive forward who did not have the skating that GMs were looking for at the time, but still, about a point per game, it's not bad. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Were you a fan of Allison? Were you not? Leaf fans, did you feel like he should have been brought back in that 06-07 season? Something should have happened or not? Let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.